But like I thought about bringing it up to him in person, being like, "Where do you feel like our relationship is
Yeah.
going?" And I'm like, when do you start having that conversation with someone, and like, how do you do that? Hi
Hello,
everyone.
everybody.
Welcome back to Like the Queen.
Welcome. So happy to be back another week. I'm not in the city anymore. So life's just a little bit sad, but it's okay because I'm back in the snow. So
You're happy, and I'm in like the worst mood today.
it's true. We logged onto the Zoom and I was like, "Are you doing okay?"
I told Victoria, but it's because my stupid animal is fighting while I'm sleeping, and so I'm just exhausted. And then I didn't tell you this, but I've also just been watching and reading so much about what's happening in Ukraine and
Yeah.
Russia. And like that's all I've been watching and reading. And so I think that also just has me down and in a bad mood,
Yeah. That is
which
so, everything that's happening is like so scary.
I know. It's very scary.
Yeah.
Did you hear what happened today? What Putin did?
No.
He I don't want to say the wrong thing so like people don't quote me, but like he told his like defense people for like high what's the I don't know the correct terms, but basically like everything's on high alert with his defense, including nuclear weapons. Mm.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Because he's mad about the Western world interfering, even though no one has sent troops into Ukraine or Russia, but he's mad about like the way they've
Yeah.
responded and like sending aid and things like that. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all know I have my nukes ready.
That isn't that wild? Isn't that wild that it's 2022
Yeah,
and this is what we're dealing with? Like this is
I
just what's
know.
happening in
I
the
know.
world.
I know. It's all I've been able to think about, which is also probably why I'm in such a bad mood. Again,
Yeah.
I woke up today exhausted. I check my phone and like read what's happening with the war, and that's the first thing I read this morning.
Yeah. That probably has a little bit to do
And I'm like, are you kidding me?
with the mental state.
Yeah,
Oh
but at
my
least my mental
goodness.
state's better than his. Like he's starting a whole war over there.
Truly everybody's is. So
That is toxic masculinity at its finest.
correct. And we are not about that here on this podcast. Not
And
unlike
also,
the Queens.
no, in all seriousness, though, like I
Yeah.
have been praying and trying to keep up with what's happening with him, but I have to tell you, I was watching the news with Mama the other day about it, and one of the news reporter, he was saying something about Putin, and he goes, he was Putin. And and like he's like he was like he repeated like he goes he was Putin, he was President Putin, like he continued like his sentence like a normal person, but I was dying laughing for like 15 minutes because he just said on my television he was Putin.
I know that you were laughing for 5 minutes. Like, I can attest. I wasn't there, but I can attest that Elizabeth is sitting there dying. That is funny,
And
though.
but honestly, how does anyone take him seriously with a name like Putin?
Honestly. Honestly, it's shocking.
It was so funny. And then Mama was dying laughing because I was dying laughing over that. And I'm
As it
like, this is
goes.
why I could never work in television or news reporting because someone would slip up on something like that and I would not be able to continue my job.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah. Well, that's my mental state. How was New York?
Yeah, so I think I'm doing a little better than Liz is. New York was absolutely wonderful. Loved it. I saw Six, the musical, live. Loved every second of it. And then I saw Company with Patti LuPone.
She's
And
got COVID now.
I know, I saw that this morning and I was like, thank the Lord. Thank the Patty gods that I got to
The
see
Patty
Patty.
gods.
Truly the day before she got COVID. Because on Saturday, or not the day before, a couple days before she got COVID. So thank
Yeah.
you. You were with me. It
They
was
were with you.
amazing. She was so good. I love Patti LuPone, so I was like, I need Patti to be in, and she wasn't. And
Yeah.
I was just like admiring her the whole time, hanging on to every word she
Yeah.
said. She got a standing O after Ladies Who Lunch. And I was like, this is just, like, this is what it means to be a Broadway star, you know? Like,
Yeah. A standing ovation
she's
in the
not the
middle of
lead
the
of the
show.
show. That was just a solo of hers. Standing O.
Mhm.
Love it.
That's incredible.
As she deserved. Yeah.
What a moment. There's a
Oh,
bug.
is there a fly? You can
I'm
tell.
not doing
Here's the
well.
thing is, like, you can tell when Liz is in, like, a worse mood than usual because she gets so angry over, over little things. So angry. Like, okay, I'm going to tell a little story. Like, in Wisconsin this
Oh
summer,
no.
we'd eat food outside all the time because it was, like, the summer. We lived right on the lake, so we'd eat our dinner outside. And when me and Madison had a little freak out over the freaking bees or, like, the bugs flying around, she was like, guys, calm down. Like, it's okay. But I need everybody to rewind to the fly that was in her bathroom.
And going. Can we tell them? Because also, like, they know I haven't had my proper sleep about when those people knocked on our door at 7 in the morning.
Yes. So one morning we were living in a resort, everybody. So it was like part of a hotel. And one morning we had some bug problems in our room. Liz had a whole issue on her everywhere, on her stomach.
Everywhere.
Mine didn't get as bad. It was like, I don't even remember where it was, like on my legs or something.
One bug bite got infected on my arm, and it was
Oh
like
yeah.
huge on the back. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were having some bug issues. We brought it to the people's attention. That they were like, okay, the exterminator is coming whenever. We never got an exact date. We never knew when they were coming. And I don't know, Monday morning, they come a knocking. They come a knocking on our door. It is truly before 8 a.m. It is before 8 a.m.
Like 7 in the morning.
And I am a morning person, so I was up. I had been up. I was like getting ready in the morning. They knock on the door and I'm like, hi. Yes. And he's like, we're the exterminators. We're here to, look at your room. And I was like, oh, I was like, I was like, my roommate's sleeping. So I was like, give me 1 minute. And he was like, okay. And I go and I wake. This is really scary. Like that when you have to wake Liz up, it's like kind of frightening. So I go and I was like, hey, Liz. Hey, the exterminators are here. We need to get out like right now. Like we need to get out right now. She lifts up her eye mask. She's livid at this point. She's immediately livid. I don't even remember exactly what you said. She was like, well tell them I need.
She was like, they're giving you like 10 minutes or something like that. And I go, well, I'm going to need more than 10 minutes.
I was like, I think they're going to give you like 10 minutes to like get your stuff together so they can be in here for a bit. And she was like, well, tell them I'm going to need more than 10 minutes. I'm going to need more time than that. And I was like, okay.
I was so upset. And just because they woke me up.
And then I go out like to the little lobby area to like make myself some breakfast. And then like 5 minutes later, here comes Liz, like full on in her pajamas. She's livid. It's written all over her face. She's like, what? And then it just so happens that our director was up that morning. He came down to visit us. Madison came out. And Liz was like, nobody talk to me.
And Joe just looks at me and he's like, what's wrong with her?
It's safe to say Liz is not a morning person at all. Not one bit.
No. And because of that morning, Joe never got me up before 9 a.m.
It's true. It's true. Every rehearsal we'd be like, oh yeah, we can meet at this time. He'd be like, well, we got to make sure it's not too early for Liz. So,
because I am so grumpy when I am tired.
It's so funny.
And then the same thing happened in Chicago when we were.
Yes. Yeah, you tell this.
We had the worst. We stayed at a hostel for the first time ever, and like needless to say, I'd rather spend that extra $20, $30 at a hotel than stay at a hostel again. We had the worst roommates, and I think it would have been fine if we had better roommates. But like we walked in to our little, it was like a four bed, like a four sleeping like bedroom. So we were sleeping with two strangers. We walk in and the room is covered with their crap everywhere. They didn't have it on their side of the room, like their crap was literally everywhere in front of the door. We were really annoyed. And then they stole the blanket off of Victoria's bed,
Yeah.
her clean blanket that was supposed to be hers.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, okay. We left our stuff and like we went and explored Chicago for the evening. We saw a drag show. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had the best time. And then we came back at like 11 something, I want to say that night. And once again, their crap was everywhere. But this time they were in the room and had thrown Victoria's blanket back onto her bed after they used it. It
Their
wasn't a clean
dirty
blanket
blanket.
anymore.
Side story, Miss Thing who stole my blanket was COVID queen because she was coughing and sneezing the whole night. And
She
I was like,
was.
I don't want your nasty blanket that you've put your nasty, smelly body on and you've been coughing and sneezing.
Hmm.
Hated it. So I just, I don't even know. I slept in like my jacket. I was like, I can't use this nasty blanket.
I'm so sorry. And so it was not a great sleeping night because we heard her yakking the entire time in the middle of COVID when it was very high. We were in a big city. And so we were just kind of like overwhelmed by that fact. And we got up at like 7 the next morning to be able to leave before we had to pay for our parking stuff again.
Yeah.
And as we're walking out the door, I tripped over their shoes. And that's what sent me overboard, okay? And so Victoria and I both had our separate cars at this point, and we were going to explore Chicago a little bit longer. But I had been to Chicago before. This was my second time. So I stayed before on the way to Wisconsin that summer. And I looked at Victoria and I said, I'm going to Michigan. I am done. I don't want to be in Chicago any longer. And so I got in my car. I left Victoria in Chicago because I'm having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And on the way to Michigan, I got pulled over by a cop because I was speeding. And then I'm sobbing. I'm sobbing all the way to Michigan at this point, all because I'm exhausted and because I tripped over a pair of shoes.
Those shoes
And
were a
what
constant problem.
they
Immediately from
were,
the second we walked in the room, those shoes were right in the way. We
they
moved them,
were.
and then they ended up being in the way again.
I know, I know, because I tripped on them.
It was
And
very funny.
yeah, now it is. Now it is. In that
Now it's
moment,
funny.
I was mentally unstable. And look, I'm back to square one.
Yeah.
And so I get to Michigan. I literally slept naked. I jumped in the shower because I was so like grossed out from being in the hostel. I showered and then I slept naked until like evening time. Then I went and explored Ann Arbor by myself, and then Victoria and I met for dinner that night.
Yep.
Hmm.
I
It was,
left and I explored Chicago a bit. You know, I had a had a great day. I met some strangers and we went to the beach. And
she had a
then
great time.
I know, right as I was like truly leaving Chicago, like I got in my car and I set my directions to go to Michigan, Liz calls me very upset. She's like, I just got pulled over. Where are you? And I was like, I'm 6 hours away. I was like, I have 6 hours to drive. And she was like, okay, great. Later, I found out that she was sleeping naked in the hotel room. But
I was
thank
like,
God
she's
we
not
got
going
a
to be
hotel
here for a
room.
while. It was the best. It was the best. And
Yeah,
I'll tell them about that probably another episode. That's where I met a guy who like blew my mind in
it's
one
true.
date.
It
He
is true.
did one date, and I was like, if I lived in Michigan, I'd make you my boyfriend, but I don't live in Michigan. Speaking of boyfriend stuff and all, I gotta tell you about my date
Yes. Yes, with
because something
waiter.
happened.
A
Yeah,
waiter.
waiter, waiter. So we went to a park that had like a little beachy area on Lake Norman, and it was really fun. We spent a lot of time together. But there was something personal going on in his life that he told me about, that he got a phone call from his mom, and like they were going, he was having very bad day. And
Okay.
like he was clearly upset. And I was not about to make his day any worse, okay? Because
Yeah.
like he was already going through a lot of really personal things. Well, I've been seeing this man for like a month and a half now, okay? I have not dated anyone else. I have been treating him the way I hope he's been treating me. And like I haven't been on dating apps. I have been focusing on my relationship with him because I like him that much.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting together at lunch. This is after we went to the park. And he pulls out his phone to show me something. And I see Bumble on his phone and that there's a notification on there. And
Mm.
I wasn't I can be a selfish person. I know that. But I am not that selfish of a person to make this moment about my feelings about him having Bumble on his phone when he's literally going through a family crisis right now. And so I didn't say anything. And
Right.
I didn't say anything the rest of the day after we said goodbye and stuff like that. But like it was eating me alive. And I came home and I was upset and I told my mom about it. And I'm like, I can't be mad at him because we haven't talked about our relationship. Like if he's seeing other people, if I'm seeing other people, it's like literally he could do what he wanted. Like
Yeah.
that's fine. I We should have just like talked about that. And so the next day he texted me and I was like, "Hey, how are you feeling? Like how are you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing okay." And I'm like, "Okay, great, because I have to talk to you about something."
Okay.
I couldn't wait any longer. And I know I probably should have waited another day to bring it up, but like mentally I was going insane over it. And so
Yeah.
I said, I when you pulled out your phone to show me something, I thought I saw the app Bumble on your phone and that you had a notification like you had a new match or someone had messaged you.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I'm not mad at you, like if you're talking or seeing other people, but I haven't. And I said to him, I said, I haven't gone out with anyone else. I haven't been swiping on dating apps. And I've turned down date offers from multiple men because I wanted to focus on my relationship with you. Like I
Yeah.
put this out here with him. And I said, so if you're seeing other people, like I'd really like for you to tell me that so I won't be shutting myself away from other people. He sent me a screenshot of the notification that was on Bumble. And it was because he needed to update the app because he hasn't been using it in so long.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, and he's like, I truly have not used this in months. And
Aw.
I was like, okay, great. And he goes, I just deleted it. I'm really sorry. And I was like, no, like if you are wanting, like you
Yeah.
didn't have to do that. Like if you want to date other people, like that's fine. Just tell me. And he's like, no, I deleted it. Like, I'm sorry. You felt that way. He's like, you could have just asked me and I would have shown you in person what it was.
That is cute though. That's cute. I was about to like kind of go off for a minute, but it resolved. The
Yeah,
story resolved
I know.
itself.
That's why I didn't tell you about it because I was gonna wait for him to explain himself. That's why I didn't call you that night or anything. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him the chance to talk about it. We're gonna talk about it,
Yeah.
see what's happening with our relationship. And needless to say, he's not dating other people either.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Good
so
for
that was my
him. So you guys, so is that like a thing now between you two? Is that your kind of thing? Did we just like kind of end it there?
that it kind of just ended there, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about. And
Mm-hmm.
so I took a screenshot um of it a couple of days ago. Maybe this was like last night. Wait, this was Friday. Today's Sunday. So yeah, this was 2 days ago. I was talking to him about the show I'm doing in Charlotte, and I'm like, I was telling him how I was writing the script and how I think I figured out a plot twist. So I said, um, I'm not going to tell you in case you do really want to see it. And
Yeah.
he goes, yes, I am coming to see it. And I said, so you plan on seeing me at least through April? And he said, yes. I said, oh, wow. So you like me that much? And he goes, yeah, duh. And he goes,
Okay.
what are you doing? And like the way we've been talking like the past 2 dates and the way he's been talking to me, he thinks about like his life as like a we thing. He's like, we should do this. I don't know if I told you that the last time. I think I may have mentioned it.
I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't mention it. So like when
No.
we saw Spider-Man, that was when he first started talking about like instead of I want to do this, I want to do that. He's like, we should do this, like we should do that.
Okay.
He's like, I want to come back to this town with you. It's so cute. We should explore this together. And I'm like, this is the first time. He's like,
Yeah.
talking about like a we. And then this past date, he was talking about this app where you can find diners, drive-ins, and dives from Guy Fieri. There's an app
Yes.
for it. Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, my friend does this, and like he goes into the different places Guy Fieri did, and he goes, I really thought this could be something you and I do together, where we go and explore these different restaurants and stuff. And I was like,
I would blush a little. I would
I
blush.
know. I was like, he he like had thought of something that we could do together. It's like an activity of marking off all these restaurants and all. And I'm like, that is so cute. And so like it's been a month and a half. This week it'll be like almost a month or 2 months, of us seeing each other. Do I make this man my boyfriend?
I don't know. It's like, I feel like at a certain point, yeah, you obviously don't want to see other people. So
No.
why not? I feel like you could have done it
And
2 dates ago and you would have been fine.
and like here's the thing is like I haven't wanted a boyfriend. And it's like
Yeah,
that's also what I'm struggling with because like for the past year I've been completely I don't want a boyfriend. Oh, did you see that? The lights.
kind of, yeah.
I don't know what just happened. I have been like I don't want a boyfriend. I just want to date a lot of men. And like I've dated a lot of men and I've
Welcome to
had
the
fun.
club.
Yes, yes, it's a club, and I've been a part of it. But now I've like met a guy who is extremely, extremely kind to me and literally only cares about me and like doesn't care about like the physical part of it at all. And I'm like, am I willing to give that up? And I don't think so.
Yeah, I say go for it. You can't, I mean, you can't control who comes into your life at certain points.
Yeah, like I wasn't expecting to meet him at all. He was my
Yeah,
waiter at a restaurant.
exactly. Ah, that's like kind of a meet cute moment.
It is a cute meet cute moment. So we're seeing each other tomorrow or Tuesday. Like we're FaceTiming later. So I got to get my crop together and like look nicer for this and plan our
Okay.
date. But like I thought about bringing it up to him in person, being like, where do you feel like our relationship is
Yeah,
going? And I'm like, when do you start having that conversation with someone? And like, how do you do that?
beats me. If
Yeah.
I ever, a couple years from now, when I ever get to that point, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be so clueless. I'm going to be like.
Well, like the thing is, with my ex, we literally went on one date and started dating each other. And I
Yeah,
mean, it worked out for 3 years. Like, it was a great relationship with this guy. I've been seeing him now for going on 2 months. And I don't know, like, when the normal time is when you're like, are we dating or what? Because I
yeah,
don't think it's because if he doesn't want to take that next step, I don't feel like it's very fair for us to just only be seeing each other.
yeah, me either. That makes no sense to me personally. If you're
Yeah.
like, I don't think we should date other people, but I also don't want to be your boyfriend.
Yeah.
What?
That's a red flag. That'd be a
What?
red flag.
That's a red flag
Yeah.
because that makes no sense. Like, I just lost a brain cell trying to comprehend that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And like I want to have that conversation with them. Like, I'm not seeing other people, you're not seeing other people. So what's this
so,
gonna be?
yeah,
You're gonna have to either let me know it's okay to see other people, or you're gonna have to make things official with me.
yeah, I agree. I think you should just ask him because he seems like he's kind of on the same page as you.
Yeah.
Seems like he's into it.
But
Good for
then it
you.
scares me because then it scares me because then like I talked to him about like how he doesn't touch me and he was like we just met. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so would this conversation freak him out because he feels like we just met?
I don't know. I feel like well, okay, but then we found out that his love language was like physical touch. That was his second place. So that's a
Yeah.
little odd. But I was like, maybe he's just like he likes the like mushy gushy stuff before the touch
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Who
like
knows?
we also talked about like the touch stuff this week, and I'm like, you can touch me, like that's fine. And he's like,
Please.
and he's like, I didn't know if you'd be okay with that, and I'm like, I am okay with that. So I think we may have also just been thinking we were on different pages in that aspect.
Love that.
So
Well, that's an exciting update. That's an exciting update. I like can't wait for
yeah,
your date in the next 2 days. I'm anxiously awaiting.
I know. And all my friends who I talk about him with, they're like, I want to see what this guy looks like. I'm like, I literally don't have pictures of him. He doesn't have social media. It's like, do I take a picture with him? And are we at that point where I'm like, hey, take a picture with me?
Yeah, just say, hey, hop in this selfie. I would.
Taking a selfie on a date.
I do that with random people.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think
Like,
it's fun.
do you have
Not
pictures
that
of guys who, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say like it doesn't even have to be a guy. Like I think it's so fun to just like be somewhere and be like, hey, photo.
Victoria!
Fun way
That's
to
so
make
funny.
friends.
That is a great way to make friends. I think I
Yeah.
will. I think I'll try on this date. I'll be like, I think we should take a picture together.
Yeah. Just put
So
it
I can
out
show my
there.
friends. No, I think I'd just be very blunt. Like, we need to take a picture together so I can show my friends what you look like.
That's funny to me. If someone
Yeah.
said that to me, I'd be like, okay. Gotta make sure I look
I'd be like,
good.
I know, I was like, get my good side.
I love that. Ow.
Yeah, so if I get a picture with him tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll send it to you.
Immediately send to me. Thank you.
I will.
Thank you.
And
Oh
also,
my
like,
goodness.
he fits all the boxes of like what I've been. Oh, in our past date too, I was also talking to him about more of like the hard stuff and things that I needed to know before I want to be in a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Like, my ex from high school, he was a horrible person and like hated all my friends because they were part of the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And
Red
I told him,
flag.
yeah, I shouldn't have ran. That's on me. I'm sorry. And so I told him, I was like, look, these are my friends. This is my family as well. Like, these are people I love and care about. And I'm like, I need to know if you're okay and supportive of that because I'm not going through that again in another relationship. And he's like, yeah, absolutely, no problem. And I'm like, okay, perfect. And then I brought up the whole religion thing. And I'm like, I was raised in a religious family. And I'm like, I believe in all that, but there are aspects of it I don't want it to be and raise my family like
Yeah.
in like a super conservative household. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I wasn't raised with any religion at all. Um, Even though he went to a Catholic school growing up. And I was like, well, does that bother you that I feel this way? And he's like, no, not at all. And he goes, he told me this. He's like, I used to be so anti-religion, but now like I consider it a beautiful thing. And like I consider myself more of a faithful person.
Yeah.
He goes, it's totally something I'm open to. And I'm like, okay, can I work with this? Should I work with this?
Yeah. I think
What do you
so.
think of,
I think that's
yeah.
like a sweet thing. Because I mean,
How do
in my
you,
opinion, faith is like it stretches so wide. Because like
yeah.
I consider myself to be like a faithful person, but
Hmm.
I'm sure in like, everybody has their own opinions
Yeah.
on everything. So I would accept that.
Yeah. I was like, okay. He's like, he said he's faithful and that he's open to
Yeah.
how I want things. I'm like, okay, so that's good. I think that's good. Should I go with this?
Love that. I
Yeah.
say
So
go
like,
for it.
yeah. So I know we're aligning on things that are really important to me,
Yeah.
and also like I wanted someone who's tall, and I've It's terrible. I've only ever dated athletes and people who work out. I'm like,
Classic Liz. Classic
yep.
Liz.
He's tall, works out, is a personal trainer, did play sports. Um, he has, he's my typical type, but he's not a jerk because I've dated a lot of jerks.
A round of applause.
But I finally got a nice guy.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah. And there's not many out there who look like that and who are actually very kind human beings.
It's true. That are like in the correct age range. I feel like
Yes.
that's the biggest thing is like finding a guy who's like not a douchebag, who's
Yep.
also not 38 years old.
Yep. It's hard to find. It's very hard to find.
People question me all the time, and that's why. Once if there's a guy out there that's around my age who like won't be just the worst person, maybe I'll give you a chance.
Yeah,
But for
no,
now,
like seriously. I've said it, I know it like bugs my dad a little bit that I've dated men in their 30s, but I'm like, they've literally been my best dates. They have been the most respectful to me. They've been the most kind to me. But now I found someone, he's still a few years older than me. He's 28, but like I found someone closer to my age who is kind and respectful to me and literally doesn't expect anything physically from me. And I'm like, whoa, what
yeah,
is happening?
yeah, I agree. My best dates have also been 28 to 37.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Except the Australian man who lied to me about his age. He told me he was
oh
28, but
yeah,
he was really 34.
that is wild to me.
I know, I know. He really messed with me mentally there. And he
Lying,
was so
red
hot.
flag.
I know. That's why I don't even bother to try with him at all. Like after those, like it was a week afterwards, things fell
Yeah,
apart slowly, and I'm like, that's okay. Red
it'll be
flag.
okay.
I'm happy to
I
cry about you.
I agree. Tell me about that one. All these guys that keep reaching out to me, I'm like, I'm not crying about you. I'm
I'm
doing
not crying
just
about you.
fine. Except Mr.
Yeah.
Pasta Guy, he's made a reoccurrence
He
today
did?
actually. Truly this
What?
morning. He said, "Good morning, how are you doing?" I said, good. How are you?" He just always reaches out, like nothing happened. And then I respond
He tried to
because
come to New
like,
York, right?
no, this wasn't him. Maybe it was
Pasta guy.
him.
Yeah, it wasn't pasta guy like I'll come visit you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because he was mad
No,
that I moved to New York.
I know your men better than you know your men.
You do. And that says something. Sorry, pasta guy. He's like, when are you coming back? Still like keep asking me the same questions. And I'm like, fine, move on.
Like, why are you so obsessed with
Why
me?
are you so obsessed with me?
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's the hard knock life.
I think it's a hard knock life for these other men because they keep knocking and you're not letting them in.
They do.
That's funny. That is an update you had. That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like not much has happened this week except for that. I sent a text to the wrong person. That
Oh
was
yeah.
an event. Um,
Did you mean to send that to me or were you just sending that to me to show me what you?
no, I meant to send it to my other friend, Chris, whose name is also Chris.
Yeah.
And I just like clicked on the wrong one. And I was like, that's kind of funny.
That's so funny. That could happen though. I'm just gonna like make a general comment. You can take it out if you want, but
Okay.
Victoria and we are both seeing people with the same name.
Yeah,
Victoria's not sharing, and I respect that. She's not gonna share what's happening in her life right now. She'll tell you if she wants to at
it's
some point.
true. You'll
But
find
needless
out
to
about it
say,
sooner or later.
yeah, you will. But we are seeing people with the exact same name, and it's really iconic of
And the
us.
exact same age.
Are you serious? Oh my
What can we
gosh.
say? Me and Liz, it's this is really iconic for us.
This is really
So
iconic for us. So, like, our friendship, we reached a whole new level.
we figured it out.
Finally. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That's so funny. Do you think when you're my age, when you're 23, do you think you're going to be ready to settle down with someone?
Yeah, maybe. Why did I sound like the TikTok? Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. I mean, I was just that this music
Yes,
came out
Uncle
Uncut
Jack.
Gems.
I fully sounded like her. Apologies.
You
I don't
did, you
know.
did.
It's not like, here's the thing is it's not like I'm actively against settling down now. It's just one, it's just not what I'm looking for. Like I like to go out and just hook up with random men. Like okay, I
Yeah.
like to do it. But it's like I do believe in like the whole right time. Like if it happens, it happens. You don't control timing. So I was like, if I met somebody tomorrow and we were really vibing, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm really into you, like this. I'm not interested in just like slipping around with everybody. Like I wouldn't be against it,
Yeah.
but
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it's just like not. I don't know. I think I just love
Yeah.
to just
It happens when you least
have.
expect it.
Yeah, it truly does. It truly does.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely let you know tomorrow or in 2 days what happens with this man. So y'all will have to stay tuned for that next week. If I'm gonna make this man my boyfriend or not, or if I'm gonna start dating other people. It's the
That's
big
a big
movement.
something. That's a big something. I'm intrigued.
Me too. I mean, I'm gonna be in North Carolina for at least 6 more months
That's what I'm
or
saying. Like it's a
longer.
good time to kind of like
Yeah,
test the playing field.
yeah. And I talked to him our last day, and like, I really want to live in a van. I'm like, do you like camping?
Not to do you like camping.
He's like, yeah, I love camping. I'm like, these are my goals, okay?
Oh my goodness.
It's like
Love
it's a
that.
really great time. Like if I wanted to build a relationship with someone, now is the time to do so.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, I'll tell you about it tomorrow or Tuesday.
Yes.
I'll tell
Sounds
you about our
good.
FaceTime. We have a FaceTime later today. I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
It's
Perfect.
our first FaceTime.
That's crazy.
And then
That's a
he
little
never
crazy
calls
after a
me.
month and a half. It's your first FaceTime, but it's happening, and that's what matters.
Yeah. And I've told him before, I'm like, you can call me. You can call me. He doesn't. So last night I was like, hey, you want to FaceTime and like talk about our date this week? And he goes, I'm really tired. Can we do this tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
I mean,
enough.
he wasn't even home yet. It was like 10 something and he was still working. So I'm
Um,
like, okay. I'm like, fair.
we'll let it slide.
Understand.
Well, this is
Well,
exciting. That's our
thank
weeks,
you.
guys.
This is what you have to look forward to.
Do you ask what I have to look forward to?
La
Oh,
Oh, what else do you have to look forward to?
I guess seeing what happens in little old Auburn in apartment number 7.
There you go.
Crazy things could happen.
There you go. Okay, like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, have fun.
Yes. I'm so bad at ending these, guys. One day
It's
I'll learn how to
okay.
properly end this podcast. But yeah, do everything she said. I'm
I'm
Victoria.
Elizabeth. Like the queen.
Like the